To give you a quick comparison on the timber regulations versus the deforestation regulations, and this is equally substituted with the UK timber regulations. So this is a comparison with either the timber regulations to the deforestation ones. What we're seeing for deforestation regulations is there's a wider definition of applicable legislation. Go through the list in a moment. We also have exports in scope. This is new, so it means for any organisations exporting out of the EU, I assume that will also apply to companies in Ireland exporting to Northern Ireland or Great Britain, so that there'll be due diligence requirements and reporting requirements for those companies too. There's additional requirements for an independent audit function, should there need to be risk mitigation conducted as a result of your risk assessment. Previous regulations didn't have prescriptive requirements on this. That's now changed, they are quite prescriptive. New definitions of operators and traders. In essence, they've got more complicated. There's many more criteria, or there's many more categories of companies that will now fall into the definition of operator, which didn't before. Traditionally, we've always considered that the first placer on the market is an operator and everyone else is a trader. However, you can now be considered an operator if you're exporting or if you're transforming products that are already on the market from one commodity code to another. And also if you're a large downstream trader, such as a retailer, although you're not an operator, you have the same requirements as an operator. So there's quite a few rules around now, and we think that's causing quite a lot of confusion. So it's one of the kind of key things that we're recommending companies do, is to really understand the different types of operators that exist and whether or not your company falls into one of those categories. It doesn't exempt you from the requirements in the way that it would have done under the timber regulations. Next, we have the inclusion of new requirements around the deforestation, which is legal in the country of harvest. So I've mentioned at the beginning in the context that the previous regulations only prohibited illegally harvested or traded material. Now, it could be perfectly legal in the country of harvest, it could have all of its harvesting permits, all of its licenses in place, but if it falls foul of the definition of deforestation or degradation, then it would still be prohibited within the EU. And last but very much not least is the geolocation and harvest date requirements. And this is one of the things that companies are struggling to get their head around, how to collect that information, how to share the information and look at how it is practical from an administrative point of view, as well as a commercial point of view with confidentiality issues that exist.